Hi, everyone, and welcome. Have you ever looked at some of the top tech companies and just wondered, how do they do it? How do their engineering teams ship new code, not just every day, but sometimes thousands of times a day? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain and break down exactly how it's done, from the key metrics that completely changed the game to the AI copilots that are shaping its future. All right, let's get into it. I mean, this is the multi-million-dollar question, isn't it? The gap in performance is just massive. For the longest time, everyone thought the answer involved some kind of painful sacrifice. But what if that whole idea, that big trade-off, was just a myth all along? For years, a single idea pretty much dominated engineering culture. And that idea was that you had to pick a side. You could be fast or you could be stable, but no way could you be both. You see, this was the fundamental conflict. If you wanted to push code faster, you were told you were taking on more risk, which meant more bugs and more outages. And if you wanted to be reliable and stable, well, you had to slow way down, add more process, and suffer through these long, painful release cycles. You were basically told it was a zero-sum game. But then, everything changed. A massive, multi-year research project came along and proved with cold, hard data that this entire way of thinking was just wrong. We're talking about the State of DevOps report from DORA, which stands for DevOps Research and Assessment. This quote from the 2016 report was an absolute bombshell. It showed that the best teams, the elite performers, they weren't choosing between speed and stability. They were actually achieving both. And they weren't just a little bit better. They were playing a completely different game. The numbers are just staggering. Let's take a look. Okay, get this. The elite performers deploy code 200 times more frequently. Just think about that for a second. While a low-performing team is struggling to get one release out the door, an elite team has already pushed 200 updates. And their lead time? You know, the time it takes from when a developer hits commit to that code actually running in production, a mind-blowing 2,555 times faster. We are talking about changes going live in under an hour, compared to months. And hey, things always go wrong in software, right? It's just a fact of life. But when an incident does happen, these high performers recover 24 times faster. An outage that might take a low-performing team a whole day to fix is resolved in less than an hour. And here's the real kicker, the final nail in the coffin for that old myth. Their changes are 3 times less likely to fail in the first place. So they're moving faster and breaking things less often. The speed versus stability myth? Yeah, completely shattered. This table really lays it all out, clear as day. Just look at the columns. The high performers are deploying on demand, multiple times a day, with lead times under an hour. Meanwhile, the low performers are stuck in these cycles of monthly or even quarterly releases. So the obvious question is, how on earth are they doing this? Well, the secret isn't about working harder or just, throwing caution to the wind. It's about building a foundation of quality right from the very beginning. And one of the core blueprints for this is a concept called the test automation pyramid. This idea, which comes from a guy named Mike Cohn, is just brilliant in its simplicity. It's a way to organize your testing strategy to get feedback as fast as possible while keeping costs down. The main idea is that you want the vast majority of your tests to be super fast, cheap, and totally reliable. So let's build this thing from the ground up. At the very bottom, you have this huge, solid base of unit tests. They check tiny little pieces of code in total isolation, and they run in milliseconds. Then, in the middle, you have fewer integration tests. Their job is to make sure all those little pieces can talk to each other correctly. And then, way up at the tiny peak, you have just a handful of slow, expensive system tests that actually mimic a real user clicking through your entire application. Now, if you get this wrong, if you flip this whole thing on its head, you end up with something pretty disastrous. It's called the ice cream cone anti-pattern. And trust me, it's not as delicious as it sounds. This is what happens when teams have very few unit tests and instead rely almost entirely on those slow, brittle end-to-end tests. It's unstable, it's slow, and it's expensive. The absolute opposite of what elite teams do. Okay, so teams started doing this. They built their pyramids, they automated everything, and they got incredibly fast. But that speed created a brand new bottleneck. And this time, it wasn't the machines that were slow, it was the humans trying to keep up. And this is where the next great evolution in software delivery really begins. See, even with all this amazing automation, when you're deploying hundreds of times a day, the sheer volume of data is just overwhelming. Think about it. An engineer is staring at a dashboard during a canary release and has to decide, is that little spike in latency a real problem or is it just noise? Making that call takes time, it takes mental energy, and at scale, it slows the whole process down. And this is where things get really futuristic. This image shows the solution perfectly. Instead of putting all that pressure on humans, we can embed intelligent AI agents directly into the pipeline itself. You can see them here. One agent helps triage test results, another one is watching for security issues, one analyzes the canary deployment, and another even helps with incident analysis. They become these automated co-pilots for your engineers. But look, you can't just flip a switch and give an AI the keys to production, right? You have to build trust over time. And this table shows exactly how you can do that safely, in stages. You start at tier 0, where the AI just makes recommendations. Then you move to tier 1, where it proposes an action, but a human has to click approve. It's only after the AI proves itself that you grant it more and more autonomy to act on its own. And the results of all this? Well, this is where it all comes full circle. Remember those 4 key DORA metrics we started this whole conversation with? This chart shows the baseline performance in yellow and the AI-augmented pipeline in orange. The impact is crystal clear, and it's measured against the very same benchmarks that define elite performance. Let's just look at the hard numbers from the case study, because they speak for themselves. Lead time for changes? Slashed by 25%. Deployment frequency? Up 28%. And check this out. A 26% reduction in both change failures and the time it takes to recover. The AI Copilot makes the pipeline faster and safer. It's the best of both worlds. So what does this all mean? Well, this isn't just a small tweak or an optimization. It's a fundamental shift in how we build and deliver software. It really changes the very nature of what an engineer does every day. And I want to be super clear about this. This is not about replacing engineers, not at all. It's about augmenting them. It's about giving them superpowers. It automates all the repetitive, stressful, and time-consuming operational work, which frees up engineers to do what they do best, solve really hard problems, and build amazing new things. And that leaves us with this one big final question to think about. In a world where an AI can help triage tests, analyze deployments, and maybe even write some of the code to fix a problem, the definition of what it means to be a great engineer is evolving. It's becoming less about the manual toil and more about being the architect, the person who designs, builds, and supervises these incredibly intelligent automated systems. What do you think that future looks like? Thanks for watching.